The dispensary, I think that's good policy.
Schools shortchanged $600 million.
They're not shortchanged $600 million.
I mean,
they're getting $226 million more than they got last year. You do this every budgeting thing where it's like, well, somebody else asked for $1 billion and we only gave them $500 million, therefore they got a $500 million cut.
But
that's not how
the state policy is cut Patterson, right? Like that was passed. That's the state formula.
The Ohio Revised Code is up for debate every 2 years of the budget process.
But
as it's been since the beginning of time.
But why wouldn't, if it hasn't been repealed, like there's no like replacement, like can you just ignore it? Like parts you don't like, you can just ignore.
Substitute bill says what the law is on school funding.
Yeah, but you do see the irony.
There's a modification to account for super high property tax values, which results in decreasing.
Because you guys don't tax rich people properly. Yeah, it all bleeds out. But you do see the irony. I'll leave you with this. You do see the problem, like from my perspective, if they get $235 million, right? They were shortchanged, I think, to cut Patterson between $400 million and $600 million. Meanwhile, we're going to sell bonds for $600 million for the Browns.
Selling bonds has nothing to do with how much.
But you have to pay the interest. But you have to pay interest on it.
The revenue that we're generating. Selling bonds has nothing to do with school funding.
But it's going to cost us. It's going to cost over $400 million probably. In terms of interest payments, it's going to cost over $1 billion.
Excess is built into the repayment, like the proposal, and the tax revenue is generated over 30 years to pay back the initial $600, any interest. There's a bond in place to pay the.
Unless they fall short on that, unless they don't get that second phase, and then all that tax revenue goes away. I mean, 30 years though. We'll see. All right, appreciate you. Gayle Manning. Yeah. The budget cuts to the schools. You're a former educator. People want to hear from you.
No one's getting cut.
But by the cut Patterson, it'd be about.
It'd be $1.5 billion.
$1.5 billion out of vouchers.
$1.5 billion. So
200. It's supposed to be $600 million.
We've made them whole, and I've talked with a lot of school systems, and they understand. And hey, we'll continue to work on it in the Senate.
So you don't feel like if they promise $6 million?
I am one of these. I'd rather give them $1.5 billion, but we don't have it. If we did that, then we can't have other things.
Yeah. Well, I say we take it from the Browns, and we give it to the schools. I think everybody wins. Just something to consider. Because you're the shadow speaker. So you're the one with power. So that's why I had to ask. Thank you. Cater.
Listen, man, you had enough from me the other day.
Are you cool on us shortchanging the schools as a former educator?
What in the world are you talking about shortchanging? We got an additional
Patterson.
$500 million from fiscal 25.
You took $1.5 billion to the vouchers, right? And then cut Patterson was supposed to fund $600 million, like 600 some million. So if you're only fitting $235 million, that's pretty much a $400 million budget shortfall. So I was just like, are you satisfied?
I don't see a budget shortfall here.
They're going to be up in arms.
No school's taking a loss. Every school that's on the guarantee continues to be on the guarantee. We gave every school an additional $20 per student in fiscal 26 and $30 per student in fiscal 27. We also gave an additional supplemental to those schools that are growing. So an additional $500 some million.
It's 235, right?
Huh?
235 million?
No, you're talking about what is in addition to the governor's proposal.
Yeah.
When I say over 500, I'm talking about what they got in fiscal 25, over a $500 million addition. So
you don't think they have any room to complain? As a former public school educator yourself.
Well, we always want to do more for our kids. We always want to support our kids. We always want to have the best programs that we can.
And why are we taking all the money from the schools?
Look at how much money we're spending. I think it's an addition. We're spending, $10.5 billion already, and we just gave them an additional $500 million.
Well, if you actually took $1.5 billion out from vouchers, so it doesn't, it rings hollow.
It's a separate conversation.
It rings hollow. It rings hollow, brother. Take it easy. What's up with these budget cuts to our schools, brother? We need Huffman. We got to get Huffman in line.
It's better than the governor's budget was. No school district loses money. and we have a chance to have a omnibus amendment next week.
I'll be cheering for that omnibus amendment.